So, welcome to all of you to the class of satellite communication. Actually, this particular satellite communication part belongs to your subject communication system engineering. So, we are going to cover in this semester we are going to cover the satellite communication. So, out of communication system engineering, module 1 and module 2 are being described for optical communication, and module 3 and module 4 are described for satellite communication. So basically in module 3 we'll cover Kepler's law, satellite orbits, spacing, frequency allocation, Luke angle, orbital perturbation, satellite launching, earth station, satellite subsystem, satellite system link models, link equations. So all these things we'll discuss in module 3, but in module 4 we'll discuss related to multiple access, direct broadcast satellite services, application of low Earth orbit satellite, medium Earth orbit, and geosynchronous Earth orbit satellites. So, for this syllabus, you can cover or you can follow the textbook, that is Timothy Pratt, Satellite Communication by Timothy Pratt. Also, you can follow Dennis Ruddy. So, let us discuss one by one. So in this particular class is an introductory class. So I will cover off the basics of satellite communication. Why we need satellite communication? What is a satellite? What are the historical background? What are different satellite orbits? What are the frequency bands? Those are being used for satellite communication. What are the basic satellite system elements? All these things we'll discuss in this particular lecture. So let us discuss one by one. So first, we'll cover need of space communication. So why we are going for space? Why you need space communication? At least we should know where we are going to communicate. So in this context, space is defined as a place free from obstacles. It can be divided into three regions. Airspace means region below 100 km from Earth's surface. Outer space, also called cosmic space, and it ranges from 100 km up to 42,000 km. It is mostly used by communication satellites. So we mostly will deal within this range, 100 km to 42,000 km. Then deep space. This is the region beyond 42,000 km fall in this category. Means mostly we are dealing with outer space. So there is a need of space communication. Why? Because Earth is not flat. Earth is having a spherical shape. So we cannot communicate from one end of the Earth to another end of Earth simply by using microwave link, because microwave link has its own visibility range. So we can say that terrestrial microwave link are not suitable to meet large coverage or large geographical area, particularly for radio, television network, even for cellular telephony. Because the basic requirement is that Earth is not flat. Our surface is not flat, and microwave communication always goes straight line. So suppose you are communicating from this part to this part, suppose through direct microwave link. But suppose the our surface is like this, you want to communicate something to be present at this point. So obviously light will move straight forward. So this particular, if certain tower is located at this point, this is not coming within your visibility range, microwave visibility range. That's why you can only, through microwave link or terrestrial link, you can only able to cover a short distance, not a large geographical area. So therefore you can say that for covering the entire geographical area or earth surface, you need at least um, other alternative as far as terrestrial communication is concerned. But simply you can also go for a calculation. Let us means whatever I'm talking, you can note it. Means describing, you can note it, and accordingly you can calculate. Let us take a very simple type of number. Means even if uh, will place certain mobile tower to cover up the entire earth surface, then means one mobile tower will link to another, then another mobile tower will link to another one, like this in a serial fashion, in a synchronized way. If you will place the in the entire earth surface, by covering mobile tower, how many number of mobile tower, or what are the number of mobile tower at least we are required to cover up a entire geographical area. One part means we are discussing what is the requirement of space communication. One part we have observed that by via direct line of sight we cannot move from one part to other part of the satellite, other part of the earth sphere, because of its spherical nature. So what is the other alternative? Other alternative is that we may use number of towers, so that one tower will connect to another tower will communicate to another one. Suppose here is another tower, from this point of tower will communicate to this tower, means this point to this point you may connect. Similarly, from this point to this point you may connect. So like this way you may take a number of towers to cover up the entire earth sphere. So how many number of towers you will at least require to cover a earth sphere? That calculation we may take, we may do. Suppose entire we'll consider only in means Indian land area. So total Indian land area is almost 4 million square kilometer. So a mobile tower can cover a radius of 1 kilometer. So radius of 1 kilometer. So we have to calculate the number of mobile towers required to fully cover the India. That means tower coverage can be calculated as pi r square. Tower coverage can be calculated as means total footprint area of a tower we can calculate as pi r square. What is the radius? 1 kilometer radius. What is the total means area a particular single tower can cover? 3.14 kilometer square kilometer. That means what is the total land area of our country? 4 million square kilometer. So just divide 4 million square kilometer divided by 3.1 square kilometer. That means one cell tower can cover 3.14 square kilometer, and total India land mass area or our country land area is 4 million square kilometer roughly. So 4 million square divided by 3.14 kilometer square. So roughly you will get 1.27 million towers to cover entire Indian land mass. So just you imagine how many means how much means such a large number of tower you have to establish in order to cover of entire area of our country. That's why it seems to be difficult. So by this way we can say that one problem is that we have limited visibility. Another problem is that infrastructure related issue. We cannot take such a huge number of infrastructure to merely communicate from one part to another part. So let us take the other alternative is that if we will increase this height of the tower, if we will increase this height of the tower to such extent that it can cover up maximum area. So what is the height of the tower we can maximum means increase? Up to suppose 36,000 kilometer. roughly suppose we'll take the height of the tower to 36,000 kilometers, so that something will be located at this height so that it can cover the almost entire part of the Indian landmass. So for that thing, if you will increase to such a large extent, that means it is not physically possible to design such a height of tower. So what is the alternative is that we have to place that particular communicating device or observing system at such a height in a floating manner. So whenever we have to place such a device at such a big height, that too in a floating manner, we are telling technically it as, or we are naming this thing as satellite. So instead of building such impossible tower, 36,000 kilometer height tower, can you imagine? This is big height. So instead of doing this thing, we are placing a satellite at this height. So we can say that that will work our, or that will facilitate our aim to communicate from one part of our country to another part, or at least subsequently we'll discuss that at least three satellite will require to cover up the entire earth with 120-degree separation. That's why we are going for space communication, because already we have discussed outer space. Outer space means with a range of 100 kilometer to 42,000 kilometer. So our satellite will be placed at a height of 36,000 kilometer. So obviously from one part to another part we are moving through space. That's why we are requiring space communication. So now come to the definition of a satellite. A satellite is nothing that orbits around a larger object. So what is the definition of a satellite? A satellite is anything that orbits around a larger object. A natural satellite is any celestial body in space that orbits around a larger body. So by simple definition, satellite is anything that orbits around a larger object. But as far as natural satellite is concerned, a natural satellite is any celestial body in space that orbits around a larger body. A satellite is a moon, planet, or machine that orbits a planet or star or anything big object. So, in generally, moons are called natural satellite because they orbit the planet, means orbit around the earth. So but earth is a satellite because it orbits the sun. So whenever we are placing the satellite artificially, man-made, in a man-made attempt, we are calling that as artificial satellite. So thousands of artificial satellites right now are moving around the earth. Some take pictures of the planet that help meteorology, predict weather, and track hurricanes, other communication aspects. So many other aspects are there, we'll going to discuss. So we can take that these are the benefits of artificial satellite. Some take pictures of other planets, means we'll place satellite at such a position that it will take pictures of other planets, sun, black holes, dark matter, or far away galaxies. These pictures and this type of analysis helps scientists better understand the solar system and our universe. So we have to place the satellite in such a position that they can take the photos of sun, black holes, dark matter, or faraway galaxies, so that we can better analyze our solar system and universe. So this is the utility of a satellite in a very means in a nutshell. This is the utility of a satellite. So first, means Indian satellite is Aryabhatta. But prior to this Aryabhatta, Sputnik 1 launched by Russia. Previously it was called as USSR. So it was launched by Russia, Sputnik 1. But Aryabhatta is the first Indian satellite, which was a means it is just the pictorial representation of this Aryabhat, that is the first Indian satellite. So whenever we are talking about satellite, Satellite may be active satellite, may be passive satellite. Passive satellites are those satellites those do not have onboarding processing capability. They only reflect the signal, means they will take the signal, receive the signal, and just will reflect the signal to the other part of the earth. It is low cost, loss of power, not useful for communication application because they have no onboarding processing capability. Means they cannot demodulate, they cannot regenerate, they cannot retranslate the frequency. So that's why they have no communication ability. But as far as active satellites are concerned, active satellites are used for linking, also for processing the signals. Active satellites are used for linking and also for processing the signals. The linkage is known as bent pipe technology, where processing like frequency translation, power amplification, etc. takes place. Active satellites employ regenerative technology, which consists of demodulation, processing, frequency translation, switching, power amplification are carried out. So the blocks used for all these purpose, we can say that transponder. We are going to discuss what is the transponder in a more detailed way when time will come. Means at appropriate time we'll discuss the um, utility of a transponder as well as its block diagram and other necessary elements. Then we'll discuss how do satellites work. Actually, two stations on Earth want to communicate through radio broadcast but are too far away to use conventional means. That means that suppose one Earth station is located at this point, another Earth station is located at this point. Both Earth stations are geographically isolated. They have no direct communication, they have no direct visibility. They cannot communicate via microwave link. In that case, we can take, means this is a example I'm giving. In that case, we can take a relay station like a satellite which will communicate between these two stations. So one earth station send a transmission to the satellite. Suppose this is at this point satellite A is located, sorry, earth station A is located. This will communicate to this satellite. This is the uplink path from earth station to the satellite, uplink path. From the satellite, suppose here is another earth station. From the satellite to the earth station, that is the downlink path. So the satellite transponder converts the signal, means here inside the satellite transponder is there which will receive the uplink signal, retranslate the frequency to the downlink signal and resend the signal to the earth station. So this is called as downlink. So by this way actually a satellite work. But a communication satellite can be looked upon as a large microwave repeater. It processes the signal, it contains several transponders which listens to some portion of spectrum, amplifies the incoming signal and broadcasts it in another frequency to avoid interference with the incoming signal. So the uplink frequency, there is a difference between uplink frequency and downlink frequency in order to avoid the interference. Next come to the point, what is the advantage of satellites. The advantage of satellite communication over terrestrial communication are the coverage area of a satellite greatly exceeds that of a terrestrial system. Transmission cost of a satellite is independent of the distance from the center of the coverage area. That means transmission cost is not a cost of distance. Rather, the cost heavily depend on the payload, means what type of application we are choosing. Depending on that thing, satellite cost varying. Satellite to satellite communication is very precise, means we can go for inter-satellite communication. Higher bandwidths are also available for use in case of a satellite. Apart from these advantage, other advantage are there. We can reach over large geographical area. 1 minute. We can reach over large geographical area. It is flexible if transparent transponder means we can as per our requirement we can mm, fix different transponder for different purposes. Easy to install new circuits. We can install new circuits as per our requirement and we can launch it. Circuit cost independent of distance. So we have already discussed. So means circuit cost do not depend on the means how much distance we are covering. It not depend on depend on that factor. Broadcast possibility. Obviously, by using satellite, we can broadcast the signal. Temporary application or restoration means using the satellite, we can use mobile van. Over the mobile van, we can place a VSAT terminal, and in a disaster scenario situation or hard to reach area, we can by using the mobile van based user equipment, we can communicate with the satellite. So we can means a temporary application, we can also switch over to this type of application. Then mobile application, obviously we can use we can use the satellite for mobile application. Terrestrial network bypass means we can bypass the terrestrial network using this satellite communication. Means if it is required, we can go for satellite communication bypassing the terrestrial network. Provision of service to remote or undeveloped areas, or means hard to reach area, we can means those suppose certain area we cannot directly communicate or means via landline or microwave link because of geographical isolation. In that case, we can directly communicate to those area via satellite. User has control over own network. Using programming aspect, we can control our network. Means to which area we can cover using our network, satellite network. One for n multi-point standby possibilities. That means we can go for multiple point of one for n multi-point standby possibilities. That means multi-point application, we can choose multi-point application, or in other sense we can say that inside satellite different means back to back we are placing we are keeping standby transponders. If one means a transponder fails, we can replace that transponder or that part by the standby one. So if a certain activity fails at certain point of time because of certain means a device failure, we have to keep in mind that if that particular device fail, then we have to take the substitute or standby one located in a series way or in a parallel way, depending upon the structure. We'll discuss this thing in satellite subsystems. So these are the advantage of satellite communication. So now we can say out of means satellite mission, how much means by observing this pie chart, we can tell clearly for communication purpose we are using 66% of entire satellite mission, but for navigation we are using 7%. For military surveillance we can use means we are using 6%. For earth observation or remote sensing we are using 5%. Astrophysics or space physics application we are using 5%. Earth science or meteorology we are using 5%, and for other this is 6%. This is a rough statistics. With passing of time this figure also changes. So but mostly we can say that communication satellite or communication application takes a major role in satellite mission. What are the disadvantage of satellites? The disadvantage of satellite communication is launching satellite into orbit is costly. Satellite bandwidth is gradually becoming used up. Because why satellite bandwidth is gradually becoming used up? Because gradually to occupy the means space, there is a fight or race between country to country, technical race between country to country. Means with the passage of time, all countries are trying to establish their own footprint in space using the satellite. That means for different number of application, different countries are using satellites. Number of satellite uses day by day increases per country. That's why satellite bandwidth is gradually becoming used over, because those bandwidth definitely they are going to use by different country. So per country, if a number of satellite increases, obviously there is a loss. So and we can say that there is a 2-degree separation. I will discuss this thing in appropriate time. There is a 2-degree separation between satellite to satellite in space, so that there should not be any interference. But with the means increasing race between country to country, satellite are getting congested day by day. With a proportion, satellite bandwidth is also going to decrease day by day. There is a larger interference and propagation delay in satellite communication than in terrestrial communication. So we can say that because of this satellite position, means whether the satellite is being placed at medium earth orbit or geosynchronous earth orbit or low earth orbit, the propagation delay is a factor. So if we are placing the satellite with a height of 36,000 kilometer, then you have to cover up 36,000 kilometer for uplink, 36,000 kilometer for downlink. That means as a whole you are covering 72,000 kilometer. So taking the velocity of light into account, you can simply calculate what is the propagation delay for covering 72,000 kilometer. Similarly, large interference are there because we have to cover, while moving from our station to satellite, you have to cover troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere. So different spheres are there. So those interference will be there. So you have to uh, look after all these things while dealing with satellite communication. So there is a larger interference. You have to design your satellite system in such a way that you can minimize the interference. So congestion of frequency and orbits. Obviously, same thing means once satellite bandwidth is gradually decreasing means there is a congestion of frequency, and congestion of orbits means when there is a race between country to country, obviously countries are being race among themselves to place the satellite in the orbit. Obviously, there is a means a forum, means international forum, so, which is dealing with all these things, means which country will use at what particular orbit at what position. So there is that forum is deciding this thing, that international body is deciding the frequency as well as the orbit. Still there is a race among the country. So these are the disadvantage of satellite. So what up to this, what we have discussed, what is a satellite, why you are going for space communication, what are the advantage of satellite, what are the disadvantage of satellites, what are the ratio of different applications of satellites, and what other thing, how the satellite works, what is active satellite, what is passive satellite, and which is the first Indian satellite. All these things we have discussed up to this point. Now we'll move to historical overview of satellite. Historical overview of satellite. So as far as history is concerned, one scientist named Clark studied the satellite orbiting in equatorial orbit at radius of approximately 42,000 km would look as if stationary if moving at a speed, at a specific speed. Three satellites at a space of 120 degree apart can cover the whole world. From that point onwards, evolution of concept of geosynchronous means satellite comes into picture. Geostationary Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit satellite, low Earth orbit satellite, geostationary Earth orbit satellite. From that point onwards, it comes into picture. Then, during 1950s, and during 1956 particularly, transatlantic cable opened. But 1957, first man-made satellite launched by USSR, Sputnik 1, and that Sputnik 1 is placed in LEO. It was used to identify atmospheric density of various orbital layers. It provides data about radio signal distribution in ionosphere. So that was the work of Sputnik 1. But 1958, just after 1 year, 1958, US satellite launched SCORE. They recorded the first voice communication. That means they established the voice communication via satellite. That score particularly launched in low Earth orbit position, LEO orbit. That particular voice communication lasted 35 days in orbit. Means that that satellite means placed in the orbit for 35 days. Then during 1960s, first passive communication satellite comes into picture. Then 1962, first active communication satellite, that is Telestar 1, that is being placed at medium Earth orbit position. And during 1963, first satellite into geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit, that is Syncom 1. This Syncom 1 being placed during the year 1963, but due to certain technical failure or technical difficulty, the communication failed. But they have launched to this orbit, GEO orbit, geostationary Earth orbit. During 1964, the International Telecom Satellite Organization Intelsat created. But during 1965, first successful communication GEO satellite, that is Early Bird or Intelsat 1 is launched. During 1965, Early Bird is the first GEO satellite. But during 1972, first domestic satellite system operational or success in Canada. But during 1965, first successful direct broadcast experiment was conducted by with a joint venture of USA and India during 1975. And 1977, a plan for direct broadcast satellite assigned by ITU, International Telecommunication Union, ITU. During 1979, International Mobile Satellite Organization or IMOSTAT established. So just see how the timeline is moving and how the technology is also moving with respect to time. During 1981, first reusable launch vehicle starts. During 1982, International Maritime Communication made operational. But during 1984, first direct-to-home broadcast system operational in Japan. That means Japan is the first country to introduce DTH, direct-to-home service, in 1984. During 1987, successful trials of land mobile communication or Inmarsat established. During 89 to 90, global mobile communication service extended to land mobile and aeronautical use. Again, during 90 to 95, this is also a crucial phase. Proposal of non-geostationary system for mobile communication comes into picture. Continuing growth of VSAT, very small aperture terminal, though VSAT terminals are being placed over ATM to communicate with the means main branch, we can say that. So the continuing growth of VSAT around the world started during this area 90 to 95. Spectrum allocation for non-geo systems. started during this period. Continuing growth of direct broadcast satellite television or direct TV created during this period. Then during 97, launch of first batch of LEO for a handheld terminal or Iridium. Voice service portable and paging service, this pocket size mobile terminal launched during this 97. So this is the means Inmarsat. During 90 to 2000, mobile LEO system, that is Iridium and Global Star, start or initiate service. But after certain time, it failed because of certain technical issues. So, one point I have, okay, I'll raise this particular point at medium Earth orbit, low Earth orbit, or geo orbit discussion time. So now, how satellites are used? What are the service types? So, a satellite can offer different type of service: fixed satellite service or fixed service satellites, that is point to point communication; broadcast service satellite, that is satellite television or radio. Point to point communication means ATM may be a fixed service satellite. Satellite television is a broadcast service satellite, also called direct broadcast services. Mobile service satellite, MSS, that is satellite phones. So service type may be fixed service satellite, maybe broadcast service satellite, maybe mobile service satellites. For different type of service satellites, we are going to use different bandwidth, frequency band, different uplink band, different downlink band. We'll discuss that thing also. So these are the means what are the different types of satellite orbits? Mean where the satellite is rotating, where the satellite is placed, and what is the advantage of those orbits. But one thing comes into picture, while rotating the satellite, those satellite means whether they are collide among themselves or not. Mostly with means the answer to the question is that mostly they do not collide among themselves, because the international agreement, as per the international agreement or international body, country to country have to follow certain rules, and by following that principle, it is very rare that satellites can collide among themselves. But what I can recall, during 2009, there was a collide between two satellite, between satellite of USA and Russia. Apart from this thing, means there is no case that we can say that satellite being collided among themselves. There is no collision among satellites. They are being orbit at their own mm, orbital path. So let us discuss satellite orbits: GEO, LEO, MEO, Molniya orbit, and high altitude platform orbits. All these things we are going to discuss. So before that, we can say that LEO, low Earth orbit, it is approximately 500 to 1000 kilometer from Earth's surface. Some people are means observing taking this 500 to 1005 kilometer or even up to 2000 kilometer, not more than that. Similarly, for medium Earth orbit, it is 8000 to 12,000 kilometer, approximately 10,000 kilometer. But for geostationary orbit, we can say that this is 36,000 kilometer or 36,870 kilometer, approximately this height we are taking. So we can say that you can calculate, there is assignment for you, you just calculate how much means if you are taking speed of light into account, means what is the propagation delay for considering this uplink path and the downlink path as a whole. So 36,000 kilometer you have to move upward, 36,000 kilometer you have to move downward. Similarly, 10,000 kilometer from MEO you have to move 10,000 kilometer upward, 10,000 kilometer downward. Similarly, for LEO you have to move 1,000 kilometer upward, 1,000 kilometer downward. Accordingly, you just try to find out what is the propagation delay for GEO, MEO and LEO. Try to compare it and try to say me in our next class. So for LEO, the period is 1.6 to 1.8 hour. For medium Earth orbit, the period is 6 hour. For GEO, the period is 24 hour. Means 24 hour it takes that particular satellite to cover the entire orbit. Similarly, medium Earth orbit takes 6 hours to complete the entire orbit. Similarly, LEO takes 1.6 to 1.8 hour to complete the entire orbit. So let us come to geostationary Earth orbit. These satellites are in orbit with a height of this around 36,000 km above Earth's surface along the equator. Objects in geostationary orbit revolve around the Earth at the same speed as the Earth rotates. That means rotation of means a speed of Earth and the satellite placed at geostationary orbit, both speed are same. This means geostationary orbit satellites remain in the same position relative to the surface of Earth. That means whenever we look towards the satellite, a geostationary orbit satellite, we will see that that particular satellite seems to be at same position at every point of time, because the satellite speed and the Earth speed both are same. So relatively both seems to be at the same position. As far as coverage area is concerned, a geostationary orbit can cover almost 42.2% of Earth's surface. Therefore, theoretically, three geostationary satellites requires to cover 100% Earth coverage. What are the advantages of GEO satellites? A GEO satellite's distance from Earth gives it a large coverage area, almost one-fourth of the Earth's surface. That's why by taking three satellites, you can cover up the entire Earth. GEO satellite have a 24-hour view of a particular area. So, suppose you want to look over upon a certain area. Suppose you want to take the vigilance over our Indo-Pakistan border for 24 hours. That means you have to place a satellite, GEO satellite, for that part. 1 minute. So we can say that these factors make it ideal for satellite broadcast and other multi-point applications. So these things, since it cover a large area, therefore we can say that this type of satellite will be useful for broadcast and other multi-point applications. What are the disadvantages? A GEO satellite distance also causes it to have a both comparatively weak signal and a time delay in the signal, which is bad for point-to-point communication. So we have already covered that a GEO satellite is at a height of 36,000 km. So once it is a height of 36,000 km, I have already given you assignment that it has to cover means what is the propagation delay. That means you have to cover 72,000 km from one part to another part in a rough way. So accordingly you can calculate that what is the propagation delay. So obviously the propagation delay is more. Also, since you are dealing with such a huge distance, so comparatively weak signal you are getting. GEO satellite center above the equator. Geostationary means GEO satellite particularly they are centered above the equator. So therefore it is difficult to receive the signal placed at polar regions. For that thing you can take because if certain place are located at polar region, it is difficult to communicate to those region using GEO satellite. For that thing What Russia does, Russia takes Monlia orbit that is being placed over polar regions, specifically to communicate over the polar region. So Monlia orbit. We'll discuss this thing very soon. Now, low Earth orbit satellites. LEO satellites are much closer to the Earth than GEO satellites, ranging from 500 to 1500 km above the surface. I've already told you 500 to 1000 or 500 to 1500 kilometers. So LEO satellites do not stay in fixed position relative to the surface. They are only visible for 15 to 20 minutes each pass. That means we can say that to cover a entire or to cover a large geographical area, you at least require a number of satellites, LEO satellites, or a network of satellite to cover a entire geographical area or a huge geographical area, because their footprint, LEO footprint, is very less as comparison to medium Earth orbit satellite. Because suppose you will placed at this point, suppose you will placed at this point, what is your cover of means footprint? Like this, like this. Suppose you will be placed at this point, then what will be your footprint? Like this. Suppose you will be placed at this point, then what is your footprint? Like this. So we can say that LEO satellites being placed at this point, it covers a very less area as comparison to other orbit satellites, means MEO satellites or GEO satellites. That's why we are requiring a network of LEO satellite to cover up a large geographical area. A LEO satellite proximity to Earth compared to a GEO satellite gives it a better signal strength. But the advantage with this LEO satellite is that signal strength is better and the propagation delay or time delay is less, which makes it better for point-to-point communication, or particularly for real-time mobile communication. It is helpful. A LEO satellite smaller area of coverage is less of a waste of bandwidth, because you have to require more number of satellite to cover the entire area. Disadvantage: a network of LEO satellite is needed, which can be costly. That means more number of satellite you are requiring. That's why you can say that more cost is involved. LEO satellite have to compensate for Doppler shift caused by the relative movement, because they are frequently, means 15 to 20 minutes each pass. They are only visible for 15 to 20 minutes, and they can, their time period is almost, means we have already discussed, the time period is almost 2 hours. So with this short span of time, their means relative movement frequently changes. That's why this causes Doppler shift, and we have to avoid this effect. Another thing is that atmospheric drag effect of LEO satellite causing gradual orbital deterioration. Because of the atmospheric drag effect, the satellites those are placed at LEO or the LEO orbit, particularly low Earth orbit, the satellites getting means drifted due to this atmospheric drag effect. So continuously we have to monitor the satellite, and we have to place the satellite or align the satellite in their respective position, so that they should not be misaligned or they should not be diverted away from their original path. So we have to keep in track. But this is a problem. Atmospheric drag effect has more impact on LEO satellites. Then medium Earth orbit satellites. A medium Earth orbit satellite is somewhere between 8,000 km to 18,000 km above Earth's surface. So MEO satellites are similar to LEO satellites in functionality, but difference is that MEO satellites are visible for much larger period of time than LEO satellite, usually between 2 to 8 hours. MEO satellites have larger coverage area than LEO satellites. Obviously, this thing we have already discussed. What are the advantage? MEO satellite is longer duration of visibility and wider footprint, means fewer satellites are required to cover a MEO network than a LEO network. Obviously, since MEO satellite means footprint is much more than to as comparison to LEO network, that's why less number of satellites required to cover a large area. But disadvantage is that MEO satellite distance gives it a longer time delay and weaker signal than LEO. LEO have strong signal, but MEO have, since it is placed at a longer means a larger distance from the Earth's surface as comparison to LEO satellites. That's why they will have more time delay, or propagation delay will be more as comparison to LEO satellites. But it is better than that of GEO satellites. What are the other orbits? I have already mentioned this word Monlia orbit. This is used by Russia for decades. Monlia orbit is an elliptical orbit. The satellite remains in a nearly fixed position relative to Earth for 8 hours. A series of 3 Monlia satellites can act like a GEO satellites. It is useful near polar regions. Specifically for polar regions, you can use this Monlia orbit. High altitude platform. One of the newest idea in satellite communication is high altitude platform. A blimp or plane around 20 km above the Earth's surface is used as a satellite. This high altitude platform would have a very small coverage area but would have a comparatively strong signal. Obviously, with such a 20-kilometer height above Earth's surface, you have strong signal. This is cheaper to put in position but would require a lot of them in network. Means to cover a large geographical area, you need at least more number of satellites to cover the entire area, because its footprint is very less. So let us take this pie chart to discuss the share of different orbit for different means entire satellite orbit. What are the shares of different orbits individually? GEO taking 43% of entire application, MEO taking 6%, Monlia orbit taking 2%, others 3%, but LEO 46%. So the larger impact is LEO orbit, then GEO orbit, then MEO orbit, Monlia and others following the suit. So this is the pie chart reflecting different orbits position. Means they are means used all across the globe. Now come to frequency bands. So different kinds of satellite use different frequency bands. We have already discussed mobile satellite service, fixed satellite service, broadcast satellite service. So satellite can offer different type of services, but depending on the services, we can use different bands. Like L band is 1 to 2 gigahertz, and this is used by mobile satellite service. Similarly, S band, it is 2 to 4 gigahertz. It is used by mobile satellite service. And deep space research, means NASA uses this particular band for deep space research. Then C band, 4 to 8 gigahertz. This is used by fixed satellite service. Fixed satellite service C band. Then X band, 8 to 12.5 GHz. This is also used by fixed satellite service. And in terrestrial imaging, means you can say that that keyword I'm forgetting. Okay. And other application is military and meteorological satellites. So for military application, you can go for this particular 8 to 12.5 GHz. X band is particularly mostly used for military application. Then Ku band, this is 12.5 to 18 gigahertz, used by fixed satellite service and broadcast satellite service, otherwise called as direct broadcast satellite services. Then K band, this is used for 18 to 26.5 gigahertz. This is used by fixed satellite service and broadcast satellite service. Ka band, this is used for 26.5 to 40 gigahertz, and it is used by fixed satellite service. So by this way, you can say that these are the different bands. Those are being used by different satellite services. It may be fixed satellite service, it may be mobile satellite service, it may be broadcast satellite service. But each band has its own uplink frequency and downlink frequency, and both are being separated with certain gap. Why there is a difference? You should there is also assignment for you. You just try to find out why there is a difference between uplink frequency and downlink frequency. What is the requirement of this band gap? So downlink means the link from a satellite to our station or receiver, but uplink means the link from ground station or our station to the satellite. Our station to satellite is uplink, satellite to ground station or our station is downlink. Uplink is highly directional and point to point link. Uplink is highly directional because you have to only aim to the satellite. If a earth station is located at this point and a satellite is located at this point, you have to be very specific because you have to target to this satellite. So this is very means highly directional and point to point link. But downlink can have a footprint providing coverage for a substantial area or spot beam. That means downlink means satellite to the earth station. That means you have to either go for a very directional one, or you will have a footprint. Means within those footprint, whoever will come, they can receive the signal. That may be a, if it is in a broadcast way, obviously the footprint is more. If it is a point to point communication, then footprint may be less. So uplink frequency and downlink frequency, two different band are being assigned for each individual L band, S band, C band. For everyone, there is different band, and there is a gap between uplink frequency and downlink frequency. Let us come to the point of discussion: satellite system elements. So up to this, we have discussed different orbits, their individual advantage and disadvantage. Also we have discussed what is the means sharing of these orbits as far as applications are concerned. Then different frequency band and their utilization by different satellite services. And also we have discussed uplink and downlink. Then come to the point: satellite system elements. Actually, satellite system elements, if you are considering this thing, we can say that one is space segment, another is ground segment, another is, apart from space segment and ground segment, another we can say that user segment, because ultimately we have to go for application. This thing we can say that this may be used for means for certain specific application. This type of scenario means from this, suppose this is R station A, this is R station B. This R station A wants to communicate to this R station B. That means this R station will move to the satellite or to the space segment via uplink path. This satellite will process the signal, will retranslate the frequency, will means retranslate the frequency to the downlink path, and the down from the downlink frequency band it will retransmit the signal to this R station. So it is coming through uplink band from this position to this position, uplink band, this position to this position, downlink band, and both means we can say that R station, multiple R station can communicate to the satellite simultaneously also. So these are the coverage region of a space segment. So combiningly, we can say that these are all ground segments. So this is the ground station. Ground station means telemetry tracking command monitoring system that is controlling the space segment. Why you have to control this thing? Because while the satellites are moving over the orbit, because of different effect, the satellite may drift from one part to another part. So in order to stabilize the satellite or in order to reorient the satellite to its original position, you have to keep in track. If any drift is there, you have to realign the satellite. If any problem is there, you have to means solve that issue using using command from the ground stations if required. So this is the space segment. Space segment mostly deal with the satellite, and ground segment mostly related to stations. So satellite system consists of R segment and space segment. R segment mostly service provider and user terminals. Space segment mostly satellite and communication link to and from the satellites. So we can say that one is data center, two is central hub. Here two, one, two, three, four, five, six, like different notations are there. One is data center. Data center means suppose we are formulating certain thing, we want to, this is a internet data center, or this is a software park. We have to deal with our client located at this point. That means we have to communicate to this client via this r station, that is called a central hub, to this satellite. Then from this satellite to the end user antenna, means this is the receiving antenna, and from the receiving antenna we are going through the modem, that is the receiver modem. From this modem again you are moving to the user end network. Whoever is present at this network, they are able to access the signal transfer from this part. So you can say that this is the path we are getting. So this part, particularly satellite part, is called space segment. This is earth segment. This is also earth segment, but inside this earth segment there is user terminals. User terminals means user equipments. So these global star satellite phones may be user terminals. Satellite phones, they may be user terminals. Satellite on the move means suppose VSAT terminal we are locating over a van to communicate to a remotely placed area. That means we can take the help of this thing. For in disaster scenario, we can also take the help of this type of vans. Similarly, satellite TV equipment, that is direct to home service, that user terminal is also means user segment. Marine satellite antennas, while means communicating in means in for particularly Navy application, you can say that they are using marine satellite antennas. So these are different user terminals. So particularly this type of user station heavily depend on the end application. That means what type of end application we are selecting, depending on that thing, user station is going to vary. Depending on the application, user station is going to vary. So just have a look how the space segment and segment coexist. Means these are all the VSAT terminals. One, two, three, four different VSAT terminals are there, and this is the R station or hub that is being communicate towards the satellite towards the satellite or space segment. And this is the particular R station telemetry tracking command monitoring system that is actually controlling the space segment. Time to time, that is controlling the space segment. So overall you have a idea how the space segment and R segment coexist. So up to this you have discussed, in this page you have discussed what is satellite system element? In a nutshell, you can say that space segment, ground segment, and user segment. Different user segment also you have gone through. Right now, we'll say in a very small means a small way we can say that what are the different phase of a satellite. Satellite has launching phase, transfer orbit phase, deployment phase, operational phase, retirement phase. Means we have to first launch the satellite for a specific application. That then we have to place the satellite in orbit, particular orbit. Then we have to deploy the satellite for our work. Once where our deployment starts, then the operation we can start. Via operation, we can monitor the satellite as well as we can take the help of satellite for our different applications. Once, because every satellite has its own lifetime. Once the lifetime is over, it comes to the retirement phase. So, up to this retirement phase means every satellite, suppose 10 to 15 years after that, we can say that its lifetime is over. So, if certain specific application we are using satellite A and we know that its time is going to over by this time, then suppose we have to keep in track with the timing or timeline of that particular satellite, and we have to keep ready another satellite so that if that satellite means its performance deteriorates, we'll take the help of satellite B so that our main motto of communication should not fail. So we have to, that's why we have to keep in track the retirement phase also. That means without hampering our communication, we should slowly obsolete the old satellites in a rightful or a right technical way without disturbing the current communication. That is our motto. Okay, so up to this thing we have discussed these points. In our next class, we'll discuss orbital mechanics. Till that point, you should thoroughly go through these subjects, and you should follow the particular textbook for this particular discussion. You can also follow other text means reference book, that is that particular yes, reference book you can also follow. If any doubt arises, you can mail me so that I will try to solve your doubts. Thank you.